We are experiencing a shortage in a commodity that the world can't live without. Demand keeps growing while supply is decreasing. Major mines were permanently shut down in Ireland and Australia, and shocks to the market could get extreme, which could send prices soaring. The world's fourth most in-demand metal is zinc. China is desperate for it. Learn more about how you can profit from this bull market at crushthestreet.com/zinc1. Again, that's crushthestreet.com/zinc1.
Welcome to Looking at the Markets with David Moadel. Today I am here with Mr. Kenneth Ameduri from crushthestreet.com. What a great name. I love the idea of crushing the street. The street crushes so many people, but we're turning it around today. Mr. Ameduri, thank you so much for joining me on Looking at the Markets today, sir.
David, thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. It's a pleasure. I've had Mr. Daniel Ameduri, and now I've got Mr. Kenneth Ameduri. So, you know, I guess the talent and the financial expertise runs in the family. Would that be true?
He's absolutely. He's my cousin. Love him to death.
Yeah. Awesome. But yeah, wanted to talk about so many things. First of all, I'm looking on crushthestreet.com right now. Looking at the About page, and I'm going to put the link in the description for Crush the Street. There's a quote here. Is it true that one of your finance professors in college actually said to you, "No one will be interested in what you have to say, and I don't think you'll be successful"? Did he actually say that to you?
He did, and it was talking about basically the direction that I wanted to go with education and my business and being involved with investing and finance and just sharing that knowledge with people. And his reasoning was it was too young and too inexperienced. But why would you tell that to someone? And I guess it really comes down to that whole college mentality where these professors are teaching people to be workers and that they have to go through this conventional system of getting their qualifications before they can actually start doing something. And for me, it was a combination of actually doing it and getting out there, trying things, failing, and breaking through. And ultimately, I look back, I don't go and I throw this in people's face. I would never go and approach my professor with this. But at this point, I'm doing it. I'm running my business. I'm an investor, invest in real estate, stocks, precious metals, and I'm doing it. I'm educating people. I'm sharing the knowledge, and I love what I do, and we have a great time at Crush.
Yeah. And I can tell. And, you know, for me, the best revenge is a successful life and a successful career. And so you're doing it. You've also co-founded multiple successful financial newsletters, and you've helped so many people to invest just like you do. So I wanted to talk about crushthestreet.com. What is this, and what does it even mean to crush the street nowadays? I mean, 9 out of 10 retail traders fail at it. So, you know, can the average retail trader or investor have a chance?
Well, really, Crush the Street and the whole mantra behind it has been opting out of conventional wisdom. And the conventional system right now is so manipulated. And this was something that I understood at a very young age. In middle school and high school, I just understood economics. And it was something that was very natural to me. And the laws of economics are very natural. And when you manipulate that and you distort that, you're defying a law. A law of nature. It's like defying gravity, trying to push a river up a mountain. Eventually, you either got to have something up there to contain it, or it's just going to roll back down. And that's what we're seeing in the economy today. And that's what we do here at Crush the Street. And there's so many distortions right now in the economy, and that's what we're capitalizing on. That's what we're focusing on. We have the stock market, which is incredibly overvalued. We have central banks, which are in overdrive, printing like crazy. I think this year, so from 2011 to 2016, they printed $7 trillion, global central banks. And this year alone, they've printed $1.5 trillion, on track to printing $3 trillion in just 1 year. This is 2017. And so they're really going into hyperdrive with what they're doing. And yeah, absolutely, it's possible to crush the street. We've been doing that. We invest in, right now, gold and silver has been a rough sector, but I believe these are going to be some of the greatest investments here in the next few years with all that's going on with the economy. Cryptocurrencies, we've been just absolutely killing it on cryptos and Bitcoin, Ethereum, all these different areas in which it's the future. It's absolutely the future here with the revolution that's happening in the monetary system. And we follow things like cobalt. Cobalt's been absolutely killing it here in 2017. Zinc, lithium, uranium's going to be a huge play going forward with this epic. I mean, I don't think any other commodity has seen a bear market like uranium, and I believe that the turnaround of that will be just as epic. So some of the things we do talk about at Crush.
Absolutely. Wanted to talk about the dollar. What factors are affecting the dollar right now? I believe you told me in the pre-interview about Japan. What can we expect to see here?
Well, we have a situation where the dollar has seen unwarranted strength. Over the last couple of years, it's just been getting stronger and stronger. And with the Trump election, it went into hyperdrive, going up over 103 on the dollar index. And now it's pulling back. And, the dollar has been going up, of course, against other worthless fiat currencies. And now it's starting to suffer. And it's a situation where the chips are in the air and they now need to settle. We've had a $4 trillion expansion of the Federal Reserve balance sheet, and things can be certainly coming to a head here. So something really interesting is going on, with bonds, yields, Japanese yen, and as it relates to gold here. And oddly enough, with the weakness that we have seen in the dollar, the Japanese yen has been weak against the dollar, even weaker. And for a weird reason, the Japanese yen correlates with gold. The Japanese yen dollar trade correlates with gold, and weakness in Japanese yen is weakness in gold. And we've seen that. Gold is near $1,200 right now. Yeah. And we're all racking our brains because of this. So we have a situation where interest rates are going up, bonds are falling, and interest rates going up is a problem, especially for a country in as bad a shape as Japan. Japan can't afford to have interest rates go up. So when interest rates rise, to combat that, the Bank of Japan prints tons of yen, making the Japanese yen weaker. And that also makes gold weaker. But that's a very short-term move when you really think about it, because they're printing their way out of an economic problem there. And that's an implosion of the Japanese yen is ultimately good for gold, even though in the short run it isn't. So there's just lots of distortions right now. Interest rates rising in general is a result of inflation. And the false pretense is that this is a bad thing for gold. But in reality, inflation is a good thing for gold. So that's a long-term reason to want to be holding gold right now. And also, interest rates rising is bearish for the economy, which is also good for gold. And the problem is sometimes markets can act very rationally, and sometimes longer than investors can stay solvent. And that's kind of what's going on right now. And it's a weird conundrum, but ultimately I think gold's going to be the winner on that.
Yeah. Want to talk about volatility. We're seeing a little bit in the markets today so far, although, volatility spiked and then came right back down, as it always seems to do lately, since November, pretty much. We can't even get more than 5% pullback in the overall markets. VIX at single digits doesn't even seem abnormal anymore. Is this sustainable, or can we see a return to normal volatility levels like we used to see?
Well, I mean, I don't really trade the markets too much. I mean, I'm the type of buy and hold. I buy undervalued assets, stocks. But I think that right now the stock market is heading for a ceiling here. Inevitably it should be falling because there's been so much manipulation that has caused it to go up. But I don't discount the fact that central banks can continue to go in and drive it higher and give people that relief of, hey, stocks are still a safe place to be, even in this time of uncertainty. We saw that really calming period and that enthusiasm enter the market when Trump was elected. And, everyone was getting really excited. But ultimately, I don't think that's going to last forever. And we've seen companies like Facebook, Amazon, Netflix, and Google, the FANG stocks, they've been a large part of the gains that we've seen over the last few years. Really, the stock market has just been hanging on these few stocks, and we're seeing some of these stocks suffer here. So we could absolutely see a little breakdown in the stock market going towards the end of 2017. But at the same time, I don't discount the fact that central banks will go in and distort the markets, and Dow Jones goes to 25,000, 2750, and maybe even 30,000. It'll be artificial, but the free market, the artificial market is defying gravity. And the longer we wait, the closer we are to that bubble burst.
And I cannot imagine that will end well. I've asked Cliff High, Lynette Zhang, and Daniel Ameduri as well about the possibility of the dollar, the U.S. dollar, becoming worthless within our lifetime. That's a scary thought. Do you think that's realistic?
Man, I would have thought it would have happened by now, but as I gain more experience in life, I don't know. I don't know how long they can continue to hold things together. Inevitably, I'll say it again, they're defying gravity. They're defying the free market with this worthless fiat currency. We know that the dollar is ultimately going to go worthless. Now, I think gold, I think cryptocurrencies, I think these are aspects of what will compete with the dollar, and central banks might have too much to deal with when the free market says, hey, I don't want to hold this worthless paper anymore. I want to own something else. I want to own gold, I want to own silver, and I want to own Bitcoin and Ethereum, because I don't trust this currency that you can print out of thin air and have historically, counting all of them, gone to zero. I don't pretend to know exactly what's going to happen. I am betting on the inevitable, though, which is why I own physical gold and silver, the mining stocks, and I'm in the crypto world.
Yeah, and we'll definitely talk about cryptocurrency. But just real quickly, I'm looking at crushthestreet.com. I'm seeing all the amazing free content on here. You got videos, interviews, looks like articles on everything from crypto to banking to investments, and of course nothing we're saying or doing in this video constitutes investment advisement. We're not telling anybody to buy or sell anything. Everybody has to do their own research, make their own decisions. Just wanted to put that disclaimer out there. If people wanted more than just the free content on crushthestreet.com, what do you have to offer?
Oh, well, people can always visit Crush the Street and sign up for our free emails, and everything at Crush is free. We have a YouTube channel where I interview, similar to this, where I interview other experts. We talk about cryptocurrency, gold, silver, and the economy. And if you want to stay more connected, sign up for the free newsletter, and we usually send 2 to 3 emails a week. Try not to bother you guys too much, but we have a great time there.
Yeah, I could tell. You really enjoy what you're doing. I mean, I really like this quote you have. I find that the harder I work, the more luck I seem to find. And that's your founding quote there from Mr. Thomas Jefferson. That's such a great one. All right, Bitcoin. People want to know about that. It's gone up quite a bit this year. When something goes up that fast, that soon, that quickly, it just feels a bit too much to me. That's my nature. I don't get into anything that went up so fast and that feels like hype. On the other hand, I'm excited about a decentralized currency that's not subject to inflationary forces, that's not subject to manipulation possibly from the Fed. Don't want to sound all conspiracy theory here, but what's your take on cryptocurrency for the rest of the year?
Well, I'm not going to speculate on the short term. It can absolutely go from 2,300, and it was at 3,000, right?
Yeah, correct.
We saw it go to 3,000. Now it's at 2,300. That's just a little bit of an idea of what we could see. Could it go back to 1,500? Absolutely. The long-term story, well, what we've seen over the last few months is now Bitcoin and cryptocurrency being solidified. And before it was speculative. No one knew what it was. Is it going to stick around? But Bitcoin going through, what it saw in 2013, with it going real high and then crashing and then coming around, it's viable.
Yeah.
More and more companies are using it. More and more people are using it. Governments are looking into the crypto world. And what's next? Now institutional investors are looking at it. Now it's indelible. It's not going anywhere, and it's proved itself. And not only is Bitcoin proving itself, but some of the other top ones are proving themselves too. The chips still need to settle, but we're looking at right now it's a sub $100 billion market cap. It's been oscillating around that, but that's still so small. I mean, the bond market is in the tens of trillions. U.S. stock market, tens of trillions. Gold market, just the physical gold is worth $7-8 trillion, and cryptocurrency is only 100 billion. And if institutional money enters crypto to a large degree, there's rumors out there with people saying that it's already happening, but if it happens to a large degree, that number will have to go higher, and it can easily go to $1 trillion and $5 trillion. That's 10 times higher than it is now. Will Bitcoin get the lion's share of that? Probably. In my opinion, it actually will, but there are going to be other ones that are rising up too, and we're seeing that. Bitcoin used to dominate 90% of the market, and now it's, I have to check lately, like 40%, and that happened very quickly. And this rise in cryptocurrency, you're right, has been swift. Just at the beginning of this year, a full 6 months ago, we were looking at a $20 billion cryptocurrency market, total market cap. Now it's $100 billion. And Bitcoin this time last year was only a $4 billion market cap. So yeah, is it moving quickly? It absolutely is, but you got to remember that it's going into a new stage of viability. What it's now proving itself to be a viable investment class, more than just some nerdy thing and essentially like a penny stock, something so small and volatile. It's entering a space of true viability, and it's a new currency monetary revolution. Bitcoin and cryptocurrency is to money what Airbnb is doing to hotels and Uber is doing to taxis. Yeah. This is a huge competition for central banks, and could we see some serious damage done to the dollar and other entities, other programs that are tied to the dollar? Absolutely. Pension funds, government institutions that are all dependent on the conventional system are all at risk now because it's all unsustainable, and there's free market solutions that people just might opt out for. And I'm betting on that.
Yeah. What position do you have in precious metals? I know we touched upon that. You mentioned uranium is an exciting space in the precious metals niche. Are you a gold guy? Are you a silver guy right now? And do you have any price targets you'd like to share?
Well, without getting crazy, I think we can easily see silver and gold go back to their all-time highs. Silver go back to 50, which would be absolutely huge for the silver stocks. I own silver. I own gold. Gold going back to 1900, again, huge for gold stocks. Both of which, gold stocks in particular, holding up quite well considering the moves down that we've seen in gold, which is indicative of a potential bottom that we are seeing in the gold stocks here, which is really something noteworthy because that tends to happen, and the miners a lot of times lead the metal. But yeah, so I recommend right now I'm 10. It oscillates 10 to 15% in precious metals. I own a lot of it physically. I store it outside of the country for the most part. And silver, I love it. I mean, I can't hold uranium in my house. That's not something that I do. I own the stock.
Sure.
But I you know what, right now I don't see it as a problem over allocating into these sectors. Now maybe there will be a day where, hey, we'll go back to 5% of the portfolio. There's people right now 100% in gold and silver, and I see why. It's inevitable that these should go higher in the very short order. I mean, we have all that we've talked about on the economic end, plus all the manipulation that is going on. I mean, we have 1.5 million tons of gold traded each year on just the LBMA alone. And that's more than the 180,000 tons of gold that has been mined ever. And, the COMEX trades 180,000 tons of gold in just 1 year. So there's just so much distortions going on. And whether it's going to be on that front that we see a breakdown or an economic front that we see a breakdown, the inevitability for precious metals to go higher, I believe, is in our favor.
Sounds good to me. And finally, just in case I missed anything, I like to ask this question. Are there any sectors, companies, stocks, or anything that perhaps people are not looking at right now that they should be looking at?
Well, I like the precious metals sector. I think we talked about it. Bitcoin. We're looking at companies right now that might be an exciting play in the crypto space. We're not. We haven't fully come around to picking them out yet. But look, marijuana is another, that's controversial, but this is absolutely huge. With California legalizing marijuana, that's 30-40 million people entering the cannabis space. And as California goes, so does the rest of the country, and so does the world. I hate to say that because I don't necessarily agree politically and in the direction that the traditional California believes, and I am a Californian, by the way. But I look, this is going to be huge. Marijuana, this industry, this is just the beginning. This is like 1920s alcohol. This is the alcohol of the 21st century, and we can see some big moves in the marijuana space.
Some people are afraid of statements made in the past by Attorney General Jeff Sessions, Press Secretary Sean Spicer is not a huge fan of the marijuana industry overall. Trump has been very hard to read. He's been pretty, non-committal, let's just say, on the marijuana industry. Should we be? Is this the time to get in? Some people are very scared.
Well, there's going to be opportunities to, pick and choose and select and capture value. Absolutely. But as a timing, the trade, could we see some volatility with it? It's possible, but I don't think that they're going to be able to fight the trend. The trend is towards legalizing marijuana. That's just my own gut opinion. Is that exactly what's going to happen? I don't know. But my gut opinion is that this is the trend. And ultimately, it's going to win out. Trump has... there's a stopwatch for him, ultimately. Although I like Trump, there's a lot of things I love about him. Eventually, he'll be voted out, or not voted out. He'll be his term will end, or he'll get 2 terms. And the trend will be towards marijuana. We're talking about 50, 100 years of just new industries, people eating it, smoking it, digesting it, letting it dissolve in their mouth, all these different things, and all the health benefits of it as well. So I don't think that there's much that these politicians can do to really stop it.
I actually happen to agree with you on that. I was just playing devil's advocate there. But it's fine. It's hard to know exactly what's going to happen in a specific industry. Look, how many of us would be thinking that gold would be close to 1,200 right now? Right.
I think the inevitable is that it's going higher, but what's going to happen 6 months from now? It's hard to say.
So, to recap, bullish long-term on altcoins and Bitcoin as well. Marijuana industry, definitely exciting to look at. Dollar, not looking short-term to medium-term. The dollar is something that I personally am not bullish on. I think it's a great idea to hold some precious metals in pretty much any portfolio. I think that it's okay to have some Bitcoin and or altcoins in your portfolio as well. Mr. Kenneth Ameduri has helped me to clarify some of these really pressing issues today and has given me some clarity on this. How can people contact you on social media and elsewhere?
Well, you can find us at our website at crushthestreet.com, and also on Twitter at crushthestreet, and YouTube channel is Crush the Street as well. David, I want to thank you for having me on the show. I appreciate it and enjoyed the conversation.
Thank you, sir. You are welcome back anytime, sir. Thank you so much for doing this. I really appreciate it.
Sure. No, I absolutely appreciate it.
Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you next time.